Hello YouTube world, Mac Daddy 1911A1 here with the Shade Tree Survivalist. This video here is going to reinforce the original point I was making about the tune-up series on the inexpensive budget 1911. Most of the work that I did with it on the guns, you could literally under 30 bucks you could do for yourself. The sandpaper I used, 5 sheets of the 400 grit and 5 sheets of 600 grit paper. They were $6 for 5 sheets, so that's about 12 bucks there. The wooden dowel that I used to polish the feed ramp, I mean, you're looking at 50 cents or $1 at Walmart. It was a 3/8 inch diameter wooden dowel. Now on the wooden dowel, here it is. This is what it looks like. I mean, I could have cut it shorter, but I wrapped a little bit of cork gasket paper on this thing. See if I can get the camera to focus on it. You don't have to use cork. My dad, he had this. You can take a ball peen hammer, the rounded end of a ball peen hammer. I mean, this is a big one. I don't know where I put my little one at. This shop is an absolute disaster right now. But you take the peening end, and you can put it on a metal part such as a carburetor or whatever, and just lightly paint it with that rounded edge, and the sharp metal will cut the gasket out, and then you have a perfectly fitted gasket to the part. You don't have to use that. Okay, you get that styrofoam, not styrofoam, but the thin foam that a lot of glass items and porcelain items and so forth are shipped with. The hardwood floor we had, it had layers of that thin foam in it. You could take a little bit of that and wrap around it, and all that's doing is allowing the dowel to completely fill the channel. And the reason I went vertically in and out like that is so that the lines, the tiny, very microscopic lines, well, not microscopic, but the lines from the sandpaper, the abrasive, are going vertically up the ramp, the same way as the cartridge, the nose of the bullet is pushing up the ramp. I want those etched lines to go up that ramp, so it'll just smoothly glide up at the ramp into the barrel. Okay, here's a couple of more items that you guys could use to wrap the end of the dowel so that it will conform to the shape of the feed ramp. Alright, first up, this is craft felt. Alright, you can buy this at any craft store, Walmart, you know, any place that has crafting materials. Then there's the black foam sheet for crafts. Okay, you could use the Scotch Brite pad, okay, or the detritus from electronics and so forth. Now this came out of our when we were doing the hardwood floor. This was in between the hardwood to keep it from being scratched in shipment. That's all that is. It's just real thin foam. See how thin that is? But the idea, and actually I need to cut this one back. I actually need to cut it back just a little bit on the sides so it's just getting the center of the feed ramp. But the idea is to have it something that is squishy, a little squishy. If I can get the darn thing to hold still. Something that'll give so that it will conform to the contour. Instead of being perfectly round like the dowel is, it'll conform to the shape of the feed ramp. If I can get the dang gum camera to hold still, it'll focus. But yeah, any of these type, anything like that, and you're not wrapping it all the way around the dowel, you're just doing part of it. Okay, I don't think it's focusing on it again. Lord, I hate this freaking camera some days. But you can see it there. Yeah, maybe just see if I can zoom in a little bit. All right, and all you're doing, like I said, is just making that round dowel, which will only hit very center because it's completely totally round. It's only going to hit the very center where it will be touching the ramp. So you're going to have a very small area, but you add something to it and it'll contour to the ramp. And then you can easily sand that ramp down with very fine grit sandpaper. 400 to 600 grit sandpaper and boom, you'll be in business. So like I said, ladies and gentlemen, very inexpensive prospect here, and a lot of this stuff you may have around your home, or you can pick up next time you go shopping at wherever it is you go shopping. The little mini files that I use, you can buy these at any Ace Hardware. I would say you're probably going to spend 10 or 15 bucks, something of that nature. They're not expensive at all. So this actually would be your single most expensive item if you were to go into that kind of depth. The sandpaper, if you don't happen to have regular sandpaper, but your wife does her fingernails, her little emery boards, one side's coarse, one side is not coarse. A small wet rock. Here's my large one. Okay, you could buy a small one, the little skinny tiny ones, and use that with the honing solution. If you don't have honing solution, 3-in-1 machine oil. Some real thin type of oil like that would work really, really well in that circumstance. Most of the work that I did, you don't have to have these specialized tools. Okay, if you got your own, you do your own handyman projects, you got your own shop, you probably got a good selection of punches. To get the mainspring housing apart, you'll need a large punch. This is a 1/4 inch diameter. That's the diameter of the piston that is at the top that actually the hammer strut rides on. And you would take that and you would push it in. Actually, it actually would have to be a little smaller than that, because you got to get the retention pin that would go in this little hole right here. Okay, you'd have to get that little tiny pin past it. Okay, so your punch would have to be a little bit smaller than that. And if it were me and I did not have the appropriate tool, I would round off that sharp edge on the punch to push it out. And then of course, the way the little pin is, there's a little flat head on it that goes that'll be out here, and once you get the piston pushed down a little bit, you take your fingernail and hook it and just pull that pin out. That's how I take that apart. Okay, the pins, the mainspring housing pin that retains it in the frame, the one we were illustrating in the video the other day, that one there, you'd want a round-headed punch if you could get one. You could buy some inexpensive ones and just round off those sharp edges really good and round that thing so it would go into the concave of the pin. But see, it's not necessary as long as it is properly fitted and you keep it square and straight. The bench block that I got, which I really am not 100% thrilled with, you can just take a good piece of hardwood and you can make that yourself just by drilling the holes, and then you could get you a router or something and cut the grooves into it. So you don't have to spend a ton of money like I did on the correct tools. However, just this one tool right here, this is for pushing the mainspring housing pin out. That's worth its weight in gold, because it mimics that pin to a degree, and it won't damage the frame, and it won't damage the pin getting it out. Okay. A non-marring hammer, like my little Craftsman here. There's all kinds of projects around your home and in your shop where a non-marring hammer will come in handy. Now this one here is the one I keep out in the shop, and I've got another one that I keep in another toolbox, and then plus the new one from Brownells with the brass head on it. It makes life a lot easier having the correct and appropriate tools. If you have a vise, okay, you're already headed a ball game, because there's a lot you can do on this vise that you can't do any other way. For instance, if you were going to, you have a bow or a kink in your in the trigger bow, okay, you could use your vise, get you a good hunk of steel like that, okay, lock that baby into the vise, you can slide that trigger bow right over it. Okay, and you can use your non-marring hammer to tap that bow and straighten that bow out. Okay, having the stirrup die, it makes it a whole lot easier, because once you set it on that die, you can look at it real quick and easy and see if the trigger shoe is square. Okay, and if it's not square, you'll have some dragging in the frame, and you're trying to eliminate the drag, smooth out all that. But yeah, $30 or less, you can do that. But I want to do right tools. I intend one day, and it may be a few years in the future, it just depends on money and other projects and toilet cars and whatever the case may be, I intend on starting building my own 1911s. Why the hell not? You know what I'm saying? The 1911 is my handgun of choice and always will be. It's just an awesome tool, awesome invention. John Moses Browning was so freaking brilliant. And I'm just so impressed with it. But yeah, I mean, this is a beginning stages of what I would like to do eventually. But yeah, you know, it takes a little bit of money to do things right. But if you have the appropriate tool for the job, it makes it easier. It doesn't make it necessarily impossible. Another thing is having a little mini vise like this one here. Now this here bolts down to the drill press so that the damn drill press, you can get it exact before you cut. You can put your project, whatever you're about to drill in, you can get all your measurements, your angles and all that absolutely correct, lock it all in tight so that when you pull that drill bit down into it, it doesn't walk or move the piece or elongate the hole or break the drill bit. Okay, I almost forgot to put this in the video, so I had to stop what I was doing and come back. If you don't have a little vise, you can always use one of these squeeze clamps like this DeWalt here, or you can use a C-clamp, but you better damn understand up front, a C-clamp can apply a massive amount of pressure and you can crush or break the part real easy with this. And remember I was saying about a woman's fingernail file, an emery board? That's what that is right there. All right, you can buy these anywhere. Anywhere they sell freaking fingernail polish and such as that. So those are some of the other items you can use that you may have handy already without having to buy other stuff. So very doable. Yeah. Yeah, my shop is a disaster right now, but I've had 40 different projects, and that's the thing. I'll get home, I'll get started on a project, and I'll finish up right about the time I've got to get my hind end in gear and take off, either go back to work and or get ready to eat or go to bed or whatever the case may be, and I just haven't had the chance to square it all away. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, 30 bucks. 30 bucks. Most of what I did you could do for $30 or just maybe a little bit more depending on where you live at in the world. This was an awesome video series, and you guys afforded me the ability to do it. Next weekend we're going to do the drawing because of the Duracoat project, and it's still back there. I've got a 100-watt light on it, keeping them good and warm so they'll go ahead and cure up. I'm just chomping at the freaking bit. But next weekend we're going to do the giveaway on the 1911 A1 auto ordnance. And to everyone who donated, thank you so very much. I have one more shooting test. I don't know if I'm going to wait till next weekend to do it or not. We've got our grandson this weekend. But I'm going to run another 250 rounds through the gun. And if there's any hiccups or issues, I will adjust or do whatever has to be done in order to make sure it's 100% reliable and absolutely smooth functioning before I send it out. But yes, we'll do the drawing, and like I've already stated, whoever wins it, I will need your information so that they can put it on the forms, and your federal firearms license dealer's address, email address, telephone number, and so forth, so that the gun can be sent from my federal firearms license dealer, Tail Spinners, to your federal firearms license dealer. And then if you're a concealed carry permit holder, you walk in, pick the gun up, take it home. Or if not, you do the 4473 ATF form. And once you clear that, then you're good to go. But anywho, this is Mac Daddy 1911A1 with the Shade Tree Survivalist. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of time, and most importantly, knowledge. Knowledge. That's the key to the whole ball of wax. If you don't know what you're doing, then you try to do something, you can ruin it. But with the book, The Complete Assembly Guide of the M1911, by Walt Kulik, K-U-L-E-K. Having that handy and having the correct tools to do the work with, that was it. But mostly having that there and having the patience to take my sweet time. Yeah. So thank you very much to all the donors. Thank you very, very, very much. It doesn't matter whether I had made $1 off the video series or not, being able to pass that knowledge on to you guys and showing you, yes, you can do these things, but you just have to learn patience, and you have to listen to that inner voice when it says, all right, that's enough, no more, stop. If you keep going, you may take too damn much metal off. You can do it. I can do it. You can do it. Okay? It just takes, you need that reference book handy. My video series, if I could have shown you guys what it said in the book, I would, but that would be getting all over their copyright, and we don't want to do that. I'm not trying to make $1 off of them, but I am trying to show you guys knowledge is power, and learning new skills, and that's the thing. All the different types of handyman projects I do and things I build and stuff like that gives me a knowledge base, a skill base, an experience base to go on to be able to do something just like this. But anyway, I've done yacked long enough. Thank you very, very much for watching. Thank you to all the donors. We will have some new projects in the future. What they'll be at this time, I do not know, but with the political crap going on in the country right now, oh my goodness. But anywho, I'd like to dedicate this video to R. Lee Ermey, from Full Metal Jacket fame. I know he was a Glock spokesman and all that, but he was a United States Marine, and he had wheelbarrow-sized balls. You hear what I'm telling you? But you guys take care out there. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for participating. And you guys take care, and we'll talk to you later.